All right, just getting set up here. If you're on YouTube, just give me a second. We're just getting everything logistically set up and we'll get this class going. All right, good evening, everyone. If you happen to be watching this live on YouTube or semi-live, it's 7 p.m. on May 10th. We're also over here on Zoom. You can look in the chat of the YouTube feed. You'll find a Zoom link and a passcode to get in. And I encourage you to join us over here. So there's some folks here that are live on Zoom. And normally when the class is over, we cut the YouTube feed and we continue to have a conversation over here on Zoom about the class topic. So I pray that you'll join me over here. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Blake Anderson. Welcome to this week's Increase class. It's May 10th, 2023. God bless y'all. Hope you're well. Wherever this finds you, whether you're watching here live in May or if this just shows up on your YouTube feed, you didn't show up here by accident, and I pray that you'll stick around. I've got a short message here for you, but it's powerful and it's one you need to hear. It's not going to take me long to deliver, and maybe you've thought about it and heard it before, but if you're hearing this right now, you need to hear it. If you're watching this class, you're someone who wants more in life. You showed up to this class because you want increase, because you're hoping for more, because you believe that there's got to be more possible for you than your current experience, but because you have a dream, because maybe God's made you some promises. And you have just enough faith to believe that it's possible. And this message is for you, if that's you. And stick around. Let's dig in and see what we come up with. And I pray that this challenges you. It can be kind of hard sometimes, but I think it can be encouraging when we embrace the facts of how our journey of success will be. So, the title of this message is Do Hard Things. Do hard things. We're going to get into why doing hard things is a habit we need to develop, and it's an absolute must if you want to achieve any level of success, especially long-term sustainable success. So I want to start with the Bible verse. It's Luke chapter 14, verses 28 and 29. And Jesus Christ is teaching here, and he's teaching some wisdom that we need to hear, and it will apply to what we get into tonight. So Luke 14, chapter 20, or verse 28, Jesus says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish." Count the cost. Have you counted the cost? Here's what we got to understand about success. The journey is long, and success is not guaranteed. I want to say that again. Your journey to your dream, your journey to success, like it or not, it's going to be a long one. And your success and whether you will really achieve it, it's not guaranteed. It's going to take everything you've got. And I may be the first one to tell you that you may be underestimating all that's going to be involved in getting there and achieving that. And that's what this Bible verse that Jesus is teaching. He's saying, listen, that tower is tall. That journey is long. It's going to require a lot from you. And before you start, you should maybe count the cost. Really have an understanding of what you're getting yourself into, because you don't want to be like the person who got half done and stopped and everyone began to mock you. So it's simple. The journey's long. Success is not guaranteed. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we got to understand that there's really 4 secrets to success. 4 secrets to success. Okay. The first thing that you got to know about achieving success in the journey to your dream is you got to know what you want. You got to have a dream. You got to have a goal. You got to have something you're pursuing. That's the easy part. I think if you're alive, you want more. The human condition is to want more, ever expanding, ever wanting more. And maybe for you, that's money. Maybe it's cars. Maybe it's relationships or friendships. Maybe it's a growing business. Maybe it's greater impact, or it's a YouTube following. Either way, you have to want more. And I think our human condition propels us to want more. The second secret to success is you've got to believe that you can do it. Now, I'm getting somewhere with these secrets to success, and I'm going to tie it to do hard things in a minute. But first, I need to lay out these secrets to success. You've got to believe that it's possible for you, because, see, if you don't believe that you could ever get there, you won't start on it to begin with. You'll give up when things are hard. You've got to believe. And here's what I want to speak to our super spiritual friends who know the Bible verses about all the things that God can do, and he can do incredible things. But here's the deal. We won't have the faith to wait on him if we don't believe that we're capable of stepping into the things that he wants for us. A measure of our faith is that God can do it, but we have to believe in ourselves that we're worthy to receive what he can do for us and that we're capable to step into it. So the second secret to success is you have got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that you can achieve that thing, that it's really possible for you. See, a lot of people know that God can, but they don't believe that he'll do it for them. Or maybe they believe that he could, but that they're not going to be able to do their part. So we've got to understand, and we've got to believe that we can. The second secret to success is we're going to have to work hard, and we're going to have to fight for it. Anything that you want is going to take everything that you got. It will take you being willing to work hard for it. And oftentimes you're going to have to fight for it. See, this dream of yours, this dream that God gave you, he's calling you for it to become someone bigger than you ever thought you would be. In the process of becoming more, you are going to have to put in the work to become more so that you can step into it. And you're going to have to be willing to work hard. You got to prove yourself worthy of the goal and the vision that he's given you. And know this, any dream is going to be opposed. It will be put under attack. There will be opposition to it, and you've got to be willing to fight for it so that you can get what you're hoping to accomplish. Step 4 in the secrets to success is to never give up. You've got to be so determined in what you want that there's nothing that can stop you. There's no setback. There's no failure. There's no momentary defeat that can stop you from pursuing it. And you believe, since you know that your God has promised you that great thing, and you believe that you have what it takes to step into it, then you continue to fight, work hard to fight for it, and to never give up. See, if you understand these 4 secrets to success, there's nothing that will be withheld from you. Paul wrote in Romans 8 that he who did not spare his own son, how will he not give us all things? Now, in the giving us all things, we're going to have to become more on the inside so that we can step into all things. And it's going to take our character development for working for what we want, for fighting for what we want, for believing that we can have it, for never giving up and continuing to pursue it. Now, why do I say all this stuff when I'm talking about doing hard things? Because Jesus said that we've got to count the cost. We've got to really consider all that it's going to take to get there. Now, I'm going to go back to my original statement. The journey to your dream is long, and it's longer than you want it to be. And your success and ability to get there is not guaranteed. It's possible. If God gave you the dream, it is possible, and all things are possible in God. But it's not guaranteed. You will have to follow him there. You'll have to be the one that puts in the work. You'll have to do the things that only you can do, while you're allowing God to do the only things that he can do. So if we're counting the cost and we're understanding that this long journey ahead of me to get there, and it may be possible I not make it, and that I'm going to have to put in some work to do it, then we've got to toughen up. And well, my encouragement to you today, my simple encouragement is that you would change your life with adding this one simple habit into what you do, is that you would begin to do hard things. That you would know that if you are going to be able to believe that you can possibly do the things necessary to apprehend the dream and the calling that God has for you. That you know that you have what it takes. And how would you ever know that you have what it takes unless you're doing hard things? See, one way that we can begin to build our self-confidence, begin to build our belief in ourselves, is by doing hard things, by showing and proving to ourselves on a daily basis that we have what it takes, that we're able to endure the things, that we don't give up. We build our confidence by doing those hard things. We need to do hard things because the work that's going to be required to accomplish our goals, to have success and to get to our dreams is going to require more from us than we probably had bargained for. And how will we be able to do all of that work unless we've built up the strength by doing hard things? How are we ever going to have the internal fortitude to continue to press through hard days, failures, trials, setbacks, unless we've built a resume and a history of doing hard things? You see, this path and this journey is it might take a lifetime. And hopefully you have a dream that takes you many years into the future and you'll be pursuing for so long. But in order to put all of those steps into place to accomplish one big thing, it's going to be done one step at a time. My wife reminded me of this quote today when we were talking about this, that by the mile, life's a trial, but by the inch, it's a cinch. You see, our dreams and our visions can be so daunting. But when we build our character and internal fortitude by doing hard things, then we're building up our inner man so that we can get there, so that we know that we can, so that we're strong enough to do the work, so that we have the grit to fight for it, so that we don't give up when the things get hard. So what hard things are we talking about? Well, it's going to look different for all of you. For some, maybe you need to wake up early in the morning. Maybe you need to start getting up at 5:30 or 4:30. And that's hard because you like to sleep in and get up just in time to get to work. But you know that if you could develop that self-control where you could get up anyways, to have the time to pray and connect with God, to read your Bible, to work out. Maybe for some of you, you need to start working out. Something that you know that you wish you would do, you wish you were in better shape, but it's hard. And it is hard. But I can guarantee you, as you start to do these little hard things, they get easier. So for some of you who already work hard, maybe it's pushing harder. Maybe it's the extra rep. Maybe it's the extra 5 minutes at the gym. Maybe it's the running the extra mile. For some of us, hard things have to do with our work. Maybe there's things at work that we keep putting off because they're hard and we don't like it. And it's not my gifting and it's not my skill set. So we just don't do it. Now, if you watch this class for any period of time, you know that I'm a proponent of embracing your gifts and not working on your weaknesses. I believe ultimately when you know what your gifts are, you know your weaknesses is, and you make room for other people. But it doesn't change the fact that there's going to be things that we have to do that we don't like because they're hard. And sometimes it's a cop-out to say that it's not my gift, when maybe it's just hard. Maybe it's just humiliating. Maybe we're just embarrassed because we failed at it before. There's things that some of you are excellent at and you have no idea because you've been too afraid to try. There's things I've learned about in my life that became not just a core competency, but an expression of my gift that I only found out because I pressed through doing hard things. So I'm known in my community as a very organized person. I'm detail-oriented, I'm organized, I'm super productive. You come in my office and everything's got a place. Look on my computer and I've got things filed away perfectly. I've set up project management systems and businesses based on that. But do you know there was a time in my life where I was completely disorganized? There was a time in my life in my first business that I would let the mail stack up. I was too afraid to open the mail, and I didn't put things away, and my business was failing. And I couldn't run any longer, no matter how hard I ran from these hard things that were embarrassing and humiliating, and I hated doing it, just continued to catch me. And I realized the only way to get out of it was to go through it. And so I pressed in to the productivity thing, saying that this was my weakness, when really I was hiding behind the fact that I didn't want to do it. And on the other side of the hard thing, I found something I was actually really good at. For some of you, you're going to have to step into the discomfort of maybe making the phone call, of reaching out to the person that you're too afraid to talk to. Some of you might need to clean your house or might need to cook healthier food. What's the hard thing in your life that, if you're honest with yourself, you know would be better for you? That if you could master that and get over that fear, that you might be able to step into greatness. What's that thing that every time you get started on something, you get super excited, it stops? Because maybe there's that task that you've never been willing to do. You see, really what I'm saying is our lives are full of these things that are hard, but I'm really talking about building habits, building the habit of doing hard things, so that there's nothing in our path towards our dreams that can stop us. There's no work required that we won't do. There's no hell the enemy can throw at us that can defeat us. That we know that we can get through because we are people who do hard things. Build the habit of doing hard things in the small things all around you, and watch life start to get easier, because these hard things aren't hard, but only the first few times, and then they become normal. And the more hard things you do, when another hard thing comes, it doesn't stop you. Have you ever worked around or been around a friend who seemed to have an excuse and something seemed to stop them with everything they did? They always had a reason. They always had an alibi. They always had an excuse. You know, really, if you think about those people, they just didn't have the strength. They didn't have the habit of doing hard things. So even the smallest things would trip them up. You know, for some of you, you have big, audacious goals and dreams. And you need to count the cost on the amount of energy and the amount of stamina that it's going to take for you to run that race. The health that's going to be required, the physical shape that you're going to have to be in. You see, if you were serious about your dream, you would train for it like an Olympian. You'd be eating healthier. You'd be going to bed earlier. You'd be working out more. Even you, if you're a writer or you're a blogger or you're running a business, would understand to truly count the cost to do anything great, that it's going to take me being at my prime, at peak, to be able to do that sustainably. How serious are you about your goal? How important is your dream? Do you want it bad enough to change your life? Do you want it bad enough to do the hard things? And if you do, my encouragement is you start looking around for the hard things in every little moment you can. And instead of avoiding them, instead of putting them off, instead of asking for help every time, that you step into them. Because it's in the hard things that you become the better you, that you become worthy of your dream, that you become worthy of your calling. It's in the hard things that you begin to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are, that you are the person that can accomplish the goals and dreams that God gave you. It's in the doing of the hard things that you're developing the habit, then that when the real work of your vision comes, that you'll have all the strength necessary to do it. It's in the hard things that you develop the grit to fight the fight of faith and to fight the enemy when he attacks you in your identity and attacks you against your dream. And it's developing the habit of doing the hard things where you become a person that never even dreams of giving up, because you know you have everything it takes to get there. So it's a simple message, and that's all I have to say tonight. Develop the habit of doing hard things and watch life get easier, and watch the steps be laid out in front of you much faster, and watch you're able to start covering more ground. So I pray that you will begin to do the hard things, because I believe that God put you on this planet for a reason. I believe that there's a dream inside of all of us, that he's got a plan and a purpose for all of us. But I believe that likely that journey will be long and that success isn't guaranteed, but I believe it's possible. So God bless you, YouTube. Join me next week for another class on increase. If you're on Zoom and you want to chat a little bit, we'll stick around.